Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about VCT Champions 2022. This is obviously the final LAN event, or basically match, for the 2022 VCT season, and obviously we'll be casting our minds to next year for the 2023 VCT season, which will start in February at Sao Paulo. I'm pretty sure Sao Paulo it's in Brazil. Obviously, I think it's in Rio or Brazil. I can't remember where it is, but it will be in Brazil, and all of the 30 teams which are partnered, so the 10 teams in Americas, EMEA, and Asia, all those 30 teams will be traveling to Brazil to, I guess, for a little kickoff clash, I guess we'll say, to really kick off the VCT season. But obviously we have to wait until February next year for that to happen. But just as a reminder for this video, for Champions, here are all the teams who competed in Champions. So from North America, we have Optic and Except from the Soccer Points, and from the LCQ we have 100 Thieves. From EMEA, we have Fun Plus Phoenix and Fnatic, and from the LCQ, that is Team Liquid. From Brazil, we have Loud, and down in the you actually can't see it, but and for the LCQ, we have Furia Esports. For LATAM, we have Leviathan and Crew Esports. For Korea, it is just DRX. Japan is just Z Division. Asia Pacific is just PaperX and Xerxia, and also Boom Esports. And China, we have Edward Gaming, which I was given Edward Gaming. I was in a hopium train. I was in a copium train. I was on a hype train for Edward Gaming, and it didn't really work out, we'll say. Anyway, so with that all done, with all the teams, let's move over to the group stages, and this is what the group stages looks like. If I can get all, then there we go. So, first off with Group A, and the first one we have PaperX versus Edward Gaming. It was a 2-1 victory for PaperX, and Forsaken did get MVP. This was also interesting to see Smoggy actually subbing for Life for this match. It was very weird because Life is actually a top talented player. He's a phenomenal player, and obviously he is primarily a duelist for the team. But it's very interesting that Smokey got to play KO on the first map, and then obviously got to play Jet at the very end. Obviously Kong was with the chamber on all them, but it was Forsaken, also with that chamber, and the Jet on the last two matches, who got PaperX the win. Sadly, no Yoru was played, which is pretty sad, but it is all good. Peril, as you can obviously see, 13-11. Benkai actually did pretty well here. I'm looking at VLR.gg, which is why I'm talking about all these things. Icebox went to Edward Gaming. Not a lot of stuff really happened. I mean, Divided did pretty well, but Dong and Kang, also nobody as well. All of them did phenomenal, especially Dong, who top fragged. And then in Haven, Jing just carried him basically. Smoggy also did pretty well as on Haven as Jet, but it wasn't enough for Edward Gaming to beat out PaperX. For the next one, this is a bit of a surprising one to me. Leviathan versus Leviathan. I actually can't remember how you're supposed to pronounce it. Versus Team Liquid. This is a very convincing 2-0 victory for Leviathan against Team Liquid. Takalila got an MVP. I'm not surprised. Takalila is basically the top player in Leviathan, but I mean, this match he did pretty decently as what I'm seeing. Obviously, he came second place overall. Had the highest KDA ratio out of all the players in this match as well, so not too bad. Scream, he carried incredibly hard. Yampi also did pretty well, as if I remember correctly. Maybe that was against Edward. I remember now. Yampi did pretty well as the chamber. I think he was debuting the chamber, I'm pretty sure, on the international stage at least. But it was a 2-0 victory. Haven 13-10. King did really well there, and then 13-10 for Ascent. In Ascent, also for Leviathan. Scream. I don't know why Scream was playing Phoenix. I think it's just a new comp that they're trying out. Didn't really work out there, but it is what it is. And then, however, in the winners match, Leviathan somehow crushed PaperX. A 2-0 victory for PaperX. For Leviathan against PaperX. That one actually kind of stumped me. That kind of showed that Leviathan is a team to be looking for, and Shy got MVP, not Takalila, which is very interesting, but he didn't do that well. But Shy popped the hell up. He impressed me in this match. Devi also tried his very hardest, getting the most kills in Paper Rex overall, but just was not enough. 13-8 for Leviathan against in Haven, and 13-11 on Bind for Leviathan. We also got to see the Yoru on Bind, very close, but it wasn't enough for Paper Rex to shut them down. For the elimination match, we have Edward Gaming versus Team Liquid, and it was Team Liquid, a very close Breeze game actually against Edward Gaming. Scream gained MVP. If we just have a look, Kong once again on top. Scream, however, has the most KDA, has the best KDA ratio of +16. I don't know, I think this also might be the first time that we have seen Stream on Raze. I might be wrong with that, but very interesting to see him on the Raze and not like I mean not like Yampi or someone, but obviously he has now fully moved over to the duelist role, which is a great sign for him. Obviously that was up against Kong, and Team Liquid destroyed Edward Gaming on Bind. And on Breeze it was incredibly close. Life was also back in, which is a good sign. Team Liquid were winning a very close Breeze game to advance themselves into the decided match against Paper Rex, and it was Team Liquid winning that one against Paper Rex. 2-1 victory. Yampi gained MVP. I think this might be this match where they were getting picked off. I'm actually not too sure. But obviously we have a look of the Yampi gained MVP. He was cracked. A +23 KDA ratio for Yampi overall in this match. That is something I never thought I would see. The next highest one was Jing and Scream +4 KDA ratio. So Yampi went off on this match, and you can definitely see that obviously if you have a look at VLR, which I am right now. Very close game in Haven, 13-15 for Team Liquid. Yampi gained a most with +11 KDA ratio, but actually Jing actually got the most kills with 30, carrying Paper Rex on his back. Pearl, a very convincing Paper Rex win. Forsaken doing his best. Yampi also once again doing his best. And then in Ascent, it was 8-13 to Team Liquid, and String gained the most kills. I think tied with Navira. And obviously there's Yampi as well with 19 kills. Forsaken did pretty well there, but it wasn't enough for Paper Rex to beat out Team Liquid, which means that they were eliminated from Istanbul, which is pretty sad to see. Next up, we have Group B, which is basically the death match. Optic Gaming versus Boom Esports. I'm actually pretty surprised that that Boom actually put up a good fight. 2-1 victory. Yay also getting MVP. A very close game though on Breeze. Yay having a +33 KDA ratio. The next highest one is Crash. He's +23 KDA ratio. 16, and obviously you saw on the screen 16-18 on Breeze. That's quite a few overtimes. Quite a few. I mean, that's 8 overtimes. Victor, yay, doing their best. Taboto though, +16 KDA ratio. So Taboto was carrying, trying to carry Boom Esports. Bind, obviously 13-5 for Optic Gaming, a pretty convincing win for them. And then 13-3, which mainly the most famous one of this match was when Crashes basically got a free ace when everyone from Boom Esports was on a zip line. Obviously, you probably have seen that video. It's been all over the internet now. Crashes get basically a free ace because everyone from Boom Esports decided to go on the zip line. Let's now move over to a pretty boring match, I feel like. Zeta Vision versus Lao, 2-0 victory. Very convincing 2-0 victory. Now, this is when they also have 10 in the lineup. Obviously, there was stuff about XDL might be playing for this team. That did not happen. 10 actually was all good to go. But, yeah, I mean, Sadhawk getting MVP. I really thought it was less because less they has a +15 KDA ratio. And, I mean, Sadhawk did really well in Fracture though. Not really sorry. Not really good on Ascent, but he did really well in Fracture though, so that, I guess that's kind of It's kind of the reason. Laz and Sugar Zero were the only lead players who actually had a positive KDA ratio Sugar Zero got a positive KDA ratio in Ascent. Laz got a positive KDA ratio in Fracture. Laz was the only Zeta Division player to have a positive KDA ratio. The winners match, obviously, this is a rivalry which will be spoken about for a very, very long time. Optic Gaming versus Loud, a 2-1 victory for Optic Gaming, and once again, a Ye again MVP. Who saw that coming? Absolutely no one. I mean, it makes sense. Plus 23 KDA ratio for Ye. Absolutely insane from that guy. Not that close game on Breeze. I mean, Breeze, not great for Optic Gaming as I'm just looking. They won only one attacking round, so pretty dismal from them. But they brought it back at the very end of Fracture and Pearl, dismantling the Loud team members. The elimination match, which I really thought was going to be really interesting to watch, which was Boom Esports versus Zeta Division, and it was Zeta Division winning that one against Boom Esports. Boom actually had a pretty good had a good opportunity to actually beat Zeta Division. Laz, though, he was just a bane of Boom Esports' existence. Plus 30 KDA ratio, was the next highest one was Dep, plus 11 KDA ratio. And then the highest one for Boom Esports was a Flipshooter. Flipshooter, plus 9 KDA ratio. Destroyed them in Haven. Well, not really. It was actually a close game in 13-11 for Haven for Boom Esports, 13-11 for Pearl, and 13-2 for Fracture. So a very convincing win for Zeta Division at the very end of the game. And finally, for the decider match, I'm not surprised about this. A 2-0 victory for Loud against Zeta Division. What more do I really have to say? Aspas getting MVP. Pancata, Les, Saucy, all of them did a great job. No Zeta Division players actually got a positive KDA ratio from all of them, if we combine all the maps. So, not great from Zeta Division, but obviously, Loud is a very difficult team to beat, so I do give them respect. Group C now, FPX versus Crew. I'm going to try and go a little bit faster now. FPX versus Crew, a very close game for FPX against Crew Esports. 14-12 for Icebox and 13-10 for Bind, so pretty close there. Shao does get the MVP of that. And Zeppin, plus 13, Shao plus 16 KDA ratio, so I'm not really surprised there. What I'm not surprised at all as well is Xset versus Xerxia, and it was a pretty convincing win against for Xset against Xerxia. Very interesting that they ran an Yoru on Icebox. I really thought it was a good idea to run Yoru on Icebox. I don't really know who played it. Oh, well, it was actually Foxy. Foxy was the player who played Yoru, which is weird to think, but it is what it is, I guess. For the winners match, we have FPX versus Xset. Now, this was actually postponed because there was actually a stomach bug that was going around in Istanbul, which mainly affected artists who actually went to hospital because of it. I think Zekin might have gotten it, but I'm not too sure about that. So both teams were basically affected by it, but Xset actually won that one. It was, I guess, it was maybe one of the upsets, I guess we'll say, from this tournament. And Xset won against FPX. I would have thought FPX would have won that, but BCJ, he just came out of nowhere and dominated them, I guess we'll say. But obviously FPX did have a bit of a nerve with Artist having the stomach bug, but he did play either way, and yeah, that's what I really have to say. Crew Esports versus Xerxia, no surprises here either. I'm pretty surprised Xerxia actually put up a good fight though. But I'm not surprised that Crew destroyed them. Kesnet plus 22 KDA ratio, and Icebox 13-4 for Crew, 13-7 for Xerxia and Haven, and 13-6 for Crew and the last map for Ascent. So Kesnet getting MVP. And finally for the decider match, FPX versus Crew Esports, and it was FPX winning that one. Segatsu gained MVP. Pretty convincing win for FPX against Crew Esports. So move over to Group D, and we have DRX versus Fury Esports. It was a pretty convincing win for DRX against Fury. The first map was very close though, but Buzz, obviously they have the role changes. I think Buzz is now the duelist, and RB, I think RB is now a sentinel. So that's all been changed now. So Buzz is now back on the duelist. I think he actually was a duelist before he switched over to Sentinel. So I mean, that's obviously now definitely a good sign now, and I think they're going to be working on that for next season. But very convincing win for DRX against Furia. What I'm pretty surprised about is actually Fnatic versus the 100 Thieves. I think only one player from 100 Thieves did not get actually no, other way around. I think Fnatic, I think 100 Thieves, the whole team got COVID, which is surprising to me, including the coaches, Sean Gares and Mike's also got COVID, so they basically had to play virtually, which was pretty funny, having the walkout, especially when no one was just appearing for 100 Thieves. But Will gained MVP, didn't really matter, because Will got MVP in 100 Thieves, beat out Fnatic on the first round. Alfia tried to do everything, but it wasn't, it didn't come to fruition then. The women's match, not really surprises there. DRX versus 100 Thieves. Very close game though on Breeze. It was going back and forth, and DRX does win that one against 100 Thieves. And Fracture, pretty convincing win as well for DRX against 100 Thieves. Elimination match. I'm pretty surprised the Furia actually put up this good of a fight, I'll be honest. I mean, no disrespect to Furia, obviously. But I really thought Fnatic was going to sweep them, but actually kind of struggled. I think it's because of DG Zim and Quick. Both those players did really well there, especially on Icebox 39. But it all went downhill for Breeze and Haven as Fnatic both got the win, and Mystic gained MVP. And finally, for the decider match, for the rematch actually, in the opening match, 100 Thieves versus Fnatic, a 2-0 victory for Fnatic against 100 Thieves to secure that spot into the playoffs. Dirk again MVP, and that's a much better performance from Fnatic against 100 Thieves. So move over to the playoffs, and this way it gets a bit spicy, you know. I tend to be spicy, you know. Playoffs. DRX versus FunPlus Phoenix, a 2-0 victory for DRX against FPX. Now, I think this is obviously because now that Buzz is finally on Duelist. I'm super happy that he's finally on Duelist, and he doesn't have to play the Sentinel role anymore. And he gets to obviously show his potential now on the Duelist role, being out FPX and Stacks again MVP. Another 2-0 victory goes to Loud against Leviathan. Leviathan were just kind of nowhere really in the playoffs, so they were eliminated pretty quickly. Optic Gaming versus Team Liquid. This was also a very good match. I think it was actually this match which I watched, and it was just Yampi was just. I mean, Optic. Yeah, it was. Yeah, like the Optic guys were just being stupid against Yampi. Yampi basically carried them in Breeze, if I remember correctly. Oh no, never mind. No. I mean, but either way, Yampi had a great performance there. Bind and Ascent though, not really great for Team Liquid. Optic Gaming got to move over to the upper bracket semifinals. XZ versus Fnatic. Oh boy, I mean, obviously, if you were a European fan here, you would not be happy with any of these results. As they got beaten out, as Fnatic got beaten out by XZ. 2-0. Cryocells gained MVP. I don't know, I think this might be his first MVP on the international land, which is pretty cool. Leviathan was the first team to be eliminated by FPX. A 2-0 victory for them once again. Not really showing up. Zeppen gained MVP. Leviathan didn't really show up there. Team Liquid versus Fnatic. I was really surprised of how convincing this victory was for Fnatic. I mean, I thought Team Liquid was at least gonna put up a fight, but it didn't come to fruition. Dirk again MVP. Upper bracket semifinals, Loud versus DRX. DRX basically got dismantled by Loud, especially on Haven. Breeze not really, it was pretty close there. But Aspas, Les, everyone from Loud, they were crazy, and I mean they continue to be crazy throughout this whole tournament. Optic Gaming versus XZ. Optic gained the best out of XZ, basically being the best team in North America. Ye gained MVP. Very interesting to see actually a Phoenix and Haven, which actually made sense. I guess probably Victor played that. Yep, Victor did play the Phoenix on Haven, so finally some common sense for these teams who actually decided to play Phoenix. XZ versus FPX. This was obviously the match which I talked about in a separate video about the turret gate. It wasn't actually a bug, I don't think. Maybe it might be. And if it's true that Riot has known about this since the very beginning, then what the hell were they even doing? But FPX, either way, they get the win. They get to get an MVP. Either way, FunPlus Phoenix getting the win, so it didn't really matter for them. DRX versus Fnatic. Oh, Fnatic. Oh, poor you guys. RB getting MVP, obviously, with the new role as a Sentinel, and they look 100 times better now, which I'll be honest, I'm happy that they're now playing really, really well. I mean, they were the team that would choke in the playoffs, and they didn't choke during the playoffs. And RB and Stacks topping it. Durka, however, I'm just checking. Durka actually has a plus 20 KDA ratio, so I mean, Durka tried everything he can to stop DRX, but was not enough. And they continued even against FPX, against another European team. The rematch from the upper bracket quarterfinals in the lower bracket semifinals, FPX versus DRX. DRX dismantling FPX, Buzz getting MVP. I don't know what else to say. DRX is just, they're back now. They're now definitely a team to be reckoned with during each international event. Upper bracket final for this one, Loud versus Optic. Once again, the rivalry that has basically been made this season started from Reykjavik. Loud again, the best of Optic gaming. Loud just dismantled Optic. In this whole match. I mean, Optic didn't even have an answer for Loud in this match. I mean, what else can you really do? Pancata plus 15, Aspas plus 3, Les plus 11. The closest, I mean, the top for Optic was Crashes plus 2 KDA ratio. Optic couldn't do crap. But this match will probably go down in history books as one of the best matches in Valorant history. Alongside maybe Gambit and Ascend in the grand final of Last Champions, this might be also going with that as well. A very back and forth, close, very, very close game. Optic Gaming versus DRX, and it was Optic Gaming who had advanced themselves into the grand final, beating out DRX in a very close game. Ye gained MVP. I don't even want to, I kind of just want to see the results. Plus 31 KDA ratio for Ye. Victor legit just changed throughout the whole match. And I think RB also did the same thing as well. Apparently he played like 6 ages, which I don't know how that's plus, oh wait, never mind, it's 5 ages, I'm stupid. So yeah, so both RB and Victor basically rotated from every agent, showing their flexibility for each role. And then move over to the grand final, and Brazil rejoice as Loud has finally taken home a LAN event, and champions, the sweetest one obviously, champions being now the rivals of Optic Gaming. Green team versus green team, the Brazilian powerhouse team versus the Green Wall. It was Loud and the Brazilians being now the Green Wall and the North Americans. Loud definitely deserved it. They were undoubtedly the best team in this tournament. It was basically between, I would have said, the best team in this tournament would have either been Loud or DRX. Optic Gaming looked a bit shaken out sometimes. DRX though just came fully in. And I really wish it was Loud versus DRX in the grand final, but obviously it wasn't. Aspas, I think, deservedly should have been MVP. Aspas have been, he was a bit of an unknown beforehand, and he was mainly, I think, a ranked player, someone from the ranked ladder, and he came in out of nowhere, and he's now made everyone in the Valorant community scared. He's a scary player to go up against, and I can definitely imagine that for Optic Gaming. So Loud, congratulations to Loud for winning champions, and also great job also from Ashniko, I think that's how you say her name, for that live performance as well before this match. That was a phenomenal performance. Actually, I watched on YouTube before making this video. Great performance by her. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we had to say. Just great, a phenomenal performance by Ash. But that's really about it for champions. Yes, that is also it for this season for VCT. However, obviously, let's actually go over to my pick'ems. And honestly, this is what they look like. Not that really that great, actually. Well, first off with the playoffs, only got 2 right, both of them being with Opta Gaming, and both being up against European teams. Even though actually this one wasn't really up against European teams, it was actually X-Set. But it doesn't really matter because I got the playoffs horribly wrong. Group A, also horribly. I only got Paperx right. I was really on the Edward Gaming train. Did not happen. We'll say that. That did not happen. Group B, however, that was actually really good because I got everything right. Everything correct here, which I'm really happy about, so that's good. Group C was also pretty decent. I mean, I got the 2 opening matches right, and the elimination. Was not expecting Exeter to actually win against FPX. I thought they were just going to flop against Crew, but they didn't. And Group D, basically the same as Group A, only got 1 correct. I don't know why it says DRX qualified both there, but alright, I mean, DRX is just better that they just qualified both teams. And I was like, as you can see here, I got 105 points. Before we obviously end this, and also a bit of an announcement I want to make as well, let's have a look at my power rankings. And this is my power rankings, not that great. I mean, the close ones is, got Optic right. I'm trying to have a look actually from this. I got Optic right. Did not get anyone else right. We'll say that. Actually, I guess I can maybe get. I got 100 thieves right. I guess. I mean, 9 through 12. Yeah, I got that right. I got Fury, I got Zertier, I got Boom right. Yeah, I mean, not great. I'll say not great power rankings from me. So obviously now with VCT 2022 done and dusted, that's all done. One thing I will be talking about in November to December is actually Game Changers Championship in Berlin. So Berlin will be the final event for VCT Game Changers. So I will be talking about that, and obviously the teams. So it'll be two North American teams, 1 Brazilian, 1 Latin America, 2 EMEA, 1 East Asia, and 1 Asia Pacific team, and then also I will be also talking about this, in which this is also in Sao Paulo. This is basically the opening event for the VC. Okay, so this is the opening event of the VCT and Riot's official 2023 tournament circuit. So we have a look as well. There's also the Americas, which will be in Los Angeles, EMEA, which will be in Berlin, and the Pacific League will be in Seoul. So that's really about it for me. Obviously, just a little bit of update on next year's season, and where else I'm also going to be going with Valorant content as well, with the off season for the VCT 2022 season starting now. So that's really about it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.
Last breath.